Alright, so if you're sticking along with me this far, that's fantastic. You must be really interested in making some modifications to this game, just like I was, because it's really a cool game, and modifying an existing game is actually an awesome way to learn about coding. You get to really get your hands dirty and do some experimentation, see what kind of changes you can make to someone else's program, and that's a good warm-up to having experience to make your own program, I find. Now, there is one more thing I want to do to this program, which is I want to give us a little reward for completing a level. And our reward is going to be, other than the sense of satisfaction, is that we're going to get an extra life awarded to us. So the way I figured out to do this is by modifying line 960. So let's scroll up and take a look at line 960. And here you can see line 960 adjusts some variables. And the variables that it adjusts are %h over here. You can see it's incrementing the %h variable, which is the level variable. So here this line is adding 1 to the variable that keeps track of which level you're on. So if it's incrementing the level, then that seems like it would be a good place for us to award ourselves an extra life. So I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to squeeze in my code right before this goto statement, because obviously once it hits the goto statement, it's going to exit out of this line and it won't hit my code if I put it after that. So I'm going to squeeze it in right here before it jumps out and goes to line 90. And the code I'm going to put is, first of all, I'm going to make another beeping sound. And this time I only want it to beep twice. So I'm not going to bother creating a for next loop for this. I'm just going to enter 2 beep commands. So I'll type beep. And just by experimentation, I figured out that these 2 beep values seem to sound good to me. And I'm going to enter beep 0.5, comma, 0.2, and then immediately after it, I'm going to put another beep command, oops, with it separated by a colon. Then I'll put beep. And my second beep statement will be 0.5, comma, 2. And then I'll put another colon. And actually, before we continue, let's just do a little experiment by pressing enter here. And now if you want to experiment with what these beep commands actually sound like, I can just enter them in real time now by just typing beep 0.5, comma, 2, and we can see what that sounds like. Or my second one is beep 0.5, comma, 0.2. So that's how you can check how the beep sounds like if you just want to test it in real time before you actually enter it into your program. So the next thing I want to do is actually reward us by incrementing the number of lives we have since we've just completed a level. And the way I'm going to do that is by incrementing the variable that keeps track of how many lives we have. And that variable is just called lives. So I'm going to enter lives equals lives plus 1. And then I'll put a colon. And you can see we don't actually have to enter the word let here, as you might be familiar with and you might be used to typing in other versions of BASIC. We normally might need to enter a line that says let lives equal lives plus 1, but in this case we don't need to. We just enter lives equals lives plus 1, and that increments the variable lives for us. So now I want to print a couple messages on the screen. The first one I want to print is which level we're on. So I'm going to print that again here by typing print, and I'm going to print that at location 230. So I'll type at %23, comma, %0, semicolon, and then a quote, and then the word level, space, quote, semicolon, and then the variable that keeps track of which level we're on, which is %h, and then the program uses plus 1 after that. And then I'll put another colon, and the next thing I want to print is the number of lives that we have, since we just incremented the number of lives. And the way I could do that now is I could put a print statement here by saying print at so forth, the number of lives we have. But since we just used a print statement, I can delete this colon and replace it with a semicolon, which I think just tells the computer that it's continuing on with our print statement and we're not typing in a brand new command. So we'll continue our print statement by entering a new print location, which in this case will be %0, comma, %22, semicolon, and then quote, then the word lives, space, quote, semicolon, and then the variable that keeps track of lives, which in this program is the word or variable called lives. And then another colon to separate it from the final goto statement at the end of this line, and I'll press enter. And there, our program modifications now should be complete. Let's go ahead and run the program now, and we'll take a look. So I'll press J for joystick, and now all of the elements that we've added or modified should be working now. We can see our number of lives up here at the top right of the screen is showing us 3, and if I crash my ship, that should go down to 2, which it does. So that's great. That's working. And now we have a level counter at the bottom left of the screen. Oh, and you can see our level just incremented, but it went up to level 20 for some reason, and it's printing the 22 lives message at the bottom right of the screen. So let's just go back in the code and fix that. Obviously we have a print statement that's gone wrong somewhere. We'll just go fix that now. And it's probably in the last line we just entered, which is right here, line 960. So we'll go back and double check our print positions. So the level is being printed at 23.0, which is correct, and the lives is being printed at 0.22. Oh, but we forgot to put the word at there. So if I put the word at there, hopefully that fixes it. Let's check that again. And you can see obviously there's a lot of experimentation and trial and error that goes along with modifying a program, or even writing a program for that matter. And so that's kind of the fun of it, is just to see how things work and figure things out and do some experimentation, and that way you learn by making mistakes and fixing your mistakes. So let's see if we've done that. Oh, so there, okay, so there we've tested two things at once. We have a low fuel warning, which I better get some more fuel. So there you can see our lives went up to 4 and our level went up to 3, and our level has changed. Oh, our fuel warning. And our level changes when the terrain color changes, and the terrain color in this case has changed from orange to blue. And then if we just follow this along until we get to the next level, there our lives now incremented to 5 and we're on level 4. Great. So our modifications seem to be working, and that was pretty fun trying to modify that game, and we successfully added some, what I think are some cool touches to it. And next we're going to have even more fun by modifying the graphics. Modifying graphics is always fun, so we're going to take a look at that in the next part of this video, so stick around for that. And again, if any of you would like to help support this channel by subscribing to my Patreon account, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/spriteworks and check out the different subscription levels there in case any of those appeal to you. Otherwise, feel free to just stick around and enjoy the free content on this YouTube channel, and we'll see how far we can go in learning how to develop some cool games for the ZX Spectrum next. So stick around and we'll see you in the next video.